Zelda Breath of the Wild was released in 2017, and whenever I see discussions about the game, people always praise it as incredible. At one point, I even saw someone put Breath of the Wild on the same level as Ocarina of Time. Although I've only played half of Ocarina of Time, what I've experienced was enough for me to understand why people consider it a masterpiece. However, every time I saw Breath of the Wild, I questioned why it was also considered a masterpiece, and after years, I finally decided to play it, and after spending 38 hours to finish the game, I would like to share a little about my experience. When I started, I knew absolutely nothing about the history, and didn't expect much from it, but I was pleasantly surprised as it progressed. While the history isn't particularly grandiose, what caught my attention were the characters. Every character has a gorgeous design, and I have a soft spot for beautiful designs, especially when it comes to female characters. But that is not the only thing I liked. A good character isn't just about looks, they also need strong personalities, and Breath of the Wild delivers on that. Even Zelda showed a side of herself I didn't expect. My favorite character, despite her short screen time, was Mipha. Everything about her made me love her. Now, put the wife aside, I initially thought the non-linear storytelling, unlike other Zelda games, might make the plot hard to follow, but after finishing the game, I had no trouble understanding it. While the history isn't as deep or layered as something like the Megami Tensei series, I appreciated its simplicity. Honestly, I'm not the best at absorbing stars with heavy subtext, so this worked in the game's favor. People often talk about the map with great enthusiasm, praising it as one of the game's strongest aspects. But to me, it felt empty, filled mostly with shrines you need to complete to upgrade your health or stamina. It reminded me of Ubisoft open-world maps, hug but lack meaningful exploration. I know Breath of the Wild influenced many games in terms of map design, but the games inspired by it like Genshin Impact or Tower of Fantasy suffer from the same use, passive empty words. And yes, I aware those two are gacha games, but their exploration mechanics share the same problem. This was the worst part of the game for me. I looked it up and found out there are more than 100 shrines, and don't know how many I completed, but after getting the Master Sword, I stopped bothering with this, because searching and clearing shrines became exhausting. The boss fights were disappointing. Compared to Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild's bosses lacked creativity, but even the dungeon bosses felt more interesting than the main ones. The only fights that gave me trouble were the fire boss and Ganon, mainly because it took me a while to figure out how to break their invisibility faces. I usually start games with zero expectations, but Breath of the Wild is one that I have always heard praised as a masterpiece, one of the most important releases of the decade. Because of that, I went it with some expectations, but after comparing my experience to the overwhelming praise, I honestly think the acclaim is exaggerated. Yes, the game is good, but not a masterpiece. While it's undeniably influential, in my personal opinion, it doesn't reach the same level as established classics like Half-Life, Ico, Metal Gear Solid, Mario 64, or its older sibling, Ocarina of Time.